It's about that time of day again. My name is Joseph. Thursday evening, November 2nd. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. We're covering crude oil, S&P, Nasdaq, gold, and euro this evening. Crude is range-bound and trading up in the battle zone from last night's newsletter. And this late session rally looks pretty strong, so it tells me to watch the two-try rule before looking for selling opportunities back down to that prior week low on Friday morning. The S&P is range-bound and trading at the high of a range ahead of tomorrow's big non-farm payroll report, which tells me to look for selling opportunities going back down into the range tomorrow morning. Speaking of range-bound, Nasdaq is also range-bound and recently spiked up to the high of today's range. So I'm waiting for the two-try rule to give me some selling opportunities back down into the middle of the range tomorrow morning. Gold is also sideways and smack in the middle of its range this evening, and I'm using the pendulum swing to give me clues for the most reliable entries and exits tomorrow. The euro is also bearish with a big old triangle pattern on the chart tonight, which means I'm looking to fade the breakouts using the two-try rule tomorrow morning. We have some big news tomorrow morning from the non-farm payroll report, and of course, with most of our markets trading sideways with ranges, I've got a great strategy going into tomorrow's session. Before we jump in and take a look at the plan for tomorrow, I want to remind you, though, the only place to watch the full-length version of this video is here on our blog at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, not to worry, there's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link, come join me here on the blog at Sideways Markets, and watch the full-length version. While you're here, don't forget, join the mailing list. I'll send you an email every evening when our nightly newsletter goes live. Lower left-hand corner, follow me on social, StockTwits, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever your flavor of choice. Make sure you follow me throughout the week for important charts, links, and updates. And speaking of charts, how easy is that? All the charts from tonight's video, that's right, you can have them on your computer tomorrow morning. Just follow that link below the video and download today's charts. Upper right-hand corner, don't forget to grab that free pass. You're going to learn more with me on that free pass than you will anywhere else on the interwebs. I can pretty much guarantee you that. If you want to come out and join me as a guest in the trade room, if you're not an advanced member here at School of Trade, make sure you grab that free pass in the upper right-hand corner. And if you have any questions, I'm always here to help. Hit me up on live support in the lower right-hand corner, right on the right-hand side of the blog, if you have any questions. Let's kick some butt here tonight. We got a lot to cover. And of course, tomorrow, third day of the month of November, what do we have here tomorrow morning? All eyes and ears are on the first Friday of every month, Non-Farm Friday. Tomorrow's the day we get that monthly employment number. Boy, it's been a big week, hasn't it? And of course, at Halloween on Tuesday, the FOMC announcement on Wednesday, right? Today was a peppering of news, whether it be tax codes or, right, Fed chairperson, things like that, right? So lots going on this week. Tomorrow, we're going to kind of wrap up what has been a very good week here with our non-farm payrolls. This is pretty simple. Every month, the first Friday of the month is always non-farm payroll Friday. So, of course, this is the first Friday of November, so all eyes are on that news tomorrow morning. We do have some news out of Asia overnight, but that shouldn't be too much of a market-moving event. We do have some news overnight in Asia. Be careful trading overnight, though, because, again, most folks will be waiting for this non-farm number tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, 8:30 employment number, we call it non-farm payroll number. That's pretty much the major news tomorrow. And when the news comes out at 8:30, you're normally going to see either the market move too fast or too slow, and you really want to give it some time to let the market digest the news report tomorrow morning. So, for example, tomorrow we come out 8 o'clock Eastern time, we open up our trade room. I'd be very careful trading before the news. Remember, big lot traders have a hard time getting in and out of positions, and they are the ones that move these markets for us. So a lot of big lot position traders are not going to be participating tomorrow until either after the news or possibly not at all tomorrow. We get a lot of traders that I know of who are trading larger position sizes. They won't even bother messing around with this news. So be very careful tomorrow morning before the news comes out. After that news comes out, usually the market either moves too fast or too slow. Now, what would the reason why would we get a real fast reaction? We get a real fast, violent reaction tomorrow if the news tomorrow morning comes out outside of expectations. You know, I'm on econoday.com right now, and if you went to their website and you clicked on this link right here, it would give you all of the estimates, right, they're expecting for tomorrow. We've known about those since early Wednesday morning. So everybody already knows what the anticipated number is for tomorrow morning, right? There's a kind of a range of what they're estimating or anticipating for this news to be tomorrow morning. If the actual number comes out outside of those estimates, then traders have to execute kind of a plan B or plan C, and that's when things really start to move quickly. Now, at the same time, if the number comes out tomorrow morning and it's right within those expectations, the market will most likely have already priced in this information, and usually it kind of sits there a little bit, right, and stalls out, and it moves relatively slow. So as you can see, tomorrow morning, be careful ahead of that news, right, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, because those large lot traders have a difficult time participating that close to that major news. And then also don't forget, right, if the news, and it really doesn't matter to me, it really doesn't matter. I don't care whether it's too fast or too slow. I'm going to give it some time after that news comes out tomorrow morning. If it comes out outside of expectations, then it will move very quickly and violently. If it comes out within expectations, they'll probably, right, slop around and trade sideways. Either way, give it 5-10 minutes, let the dust settle, and then go from there. Now that we have that out of the way, tomorrow's also a Friday, right? So end of the week. What do we always talk about when it comes to the end of the week? The end of the week, we always talk about early in and early out. You know, for some strange reason, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, traders take bigger risks, right? Traders become more risk tolerant towards the end of the week. They're either trying to dig themselves out of holes to get into earlier that week, or maybe they've had a great week and they're trading high on confidence, right? And they're trading with quote unquote house money. The bottom line is, as we get later in the session on Friday, my personal opinion, anything after 11 o'clock Eastern time on Friday morning, you've got to have a really good reason to be getting into those new positions. You're more than welcome to hold open positions into the close on Friday. I would not recommend holding over the weekend, because in the world we live in right now, right, it moves very quickly over the weekend when it comes back open on Sunday night. So I wouldn't recommend holding anything over the weekend, but definitely you're more than welcome to hold trades into the close, but be very careful taking on more risk, right, tomorrow morning after 11 a.m. Eastern time. What is the second thing we always talk about when it comes to end of the week? Yeah, those prior week levels, those prior week open, high, low, and close levels, right? Those are the most important ones for tomorrow. You're going to see a bunch of those on the chart tonight. We'll take a look at those tonight on the charts. Get a bunch of those prior week levels and be using those prior week levels as a magnet tomorrow if we can get the proper signal. So early in, early out, 11 o'clock Eastern time, right? Limit the risk there. And prior week, open, high, low, close levels. We get a bunch of those we're watching here tomorrow. One last thing ahead of non-farm payrolls. Non-farm payrolls is one of those news events. It's like the inventory report on crude oil. It's like the FOMC announcement, which is on Wednesday as well. This is major news. And as we look at the charts tonight, I'm going to do my best to prepare for tomorrow's session. I want to be very, very honest, and I want to make sure you guys don't gamble around that news tomorrow. I know that oftentimes when the news comes out, we get big, bold moves, but I want you to promise me that we're not going to try to step in front of a freight train. We're not going to fade big, strong rallies or collapses. Follow the plan. Do your best. Wait for that news to come out. But I'm telling you right now, if we get some news tomorrow morning and this market takes off to the upside, I don't care what's there, right? We're not going to sell into a rocket ship going higher if these markets start going higher. So I'm going to put the plan together for tonight. We'll do my best to anticipate tomorrow, but much like any time we have major news events, it's a little bit difficult for me to tell what the reaction will be tomorrow. So just be careful, right? No buying, right? No buying into a collapsing market, right? No trying to fade a market that's roaring higher coming out of tomorrow's non-farm payroll news. Now, speaking of a market roaring higher, higher here. Let's jump into some charts here. We got crude, S&P, Nasdaq, gold, and we'll wrap up on the euro this evening and get you off to enjoy your Thursday evening. Now, don't forget, we'll be in our trade room every morning, Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll trade the strategy together, so don't forget about that. Starting off tonight with crude oil. Crude is range-bound, but trading in the battle zone from last night's newsletter ahead of this big non-farm payroll report tomorrow morning. This move higher was quite strong, as you can see, right? Quite a strong move higher to finish today's session, which tells me to expect the buyers to indeed try one more time. So I'm going to stay patient for them to fail and look for selling opportunities down to that prior week high tomorrow morning. Here's that prior week level, as I mentioned earlier, right? There's that prior week level we're watching right now. That's the prior week high. And if you've been watching this newsletter all week, this number at 54.20 has been a constant price magnet. This has been something we've been watching all week, right? There's last Friday's high, and we have been dancing around that level even after this roaring high market, right, that we saw earlier on this week. So with that said, as we look forward at this, it's very, very clear here. The day started off inside of a range, right? Today was a range day. Most of us probably picked up on that pretty easily here this morning, right? Buying low, selling high. That was the plan today, right, in the U.S. morning session. Well, now here we are. We jump up into the battle zone from last night's newsletter. Now, this is a very strong move higher. What do we always talk about on this newsletter? Whenever we see a strong move in one direction, what do? We expect to see a two-legged pullback and a retest of that high. That is all the information that we need to go forward for tomorrow. If the buyers can pull back and retest that high, the odds are very, very high now. This market continues to hold bullish, and we turn into a bull spike in channel or a spike in range, right, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to be waiting patiently to see what happens when this market pulls back, because this is really the most important information in this chart right now. I have the prior week high. If they can't hold it, we go back down into that no trade zone tomorrow. If they can hold it, right, we got that high from earlier this week up at 55.22. So sellers want to get back down into that 54.20 no trade zone, right in the back of the range. The buyers want to get up to 55.22. Strong move higher. Anytime I see a strong move higher, moving outside of a range, context is most important, right? We're coming out of a range right now. I always tell my clients, don't let a strong breakout spook you. Wait to see it pull back. Look for the buyers to try again. And once those buyers start to fail on that second attempt, that's when now we can start getting aggressive and sell this market back down. I do not want to try to fade this move going higher. It's just too strong. It's too strong of a move, right? It will probably try one more time, make my life a little more difficult in the process before it drops back off that high. I have a trading range. Anytime I have a trading range, I look for the 2-try rule, 1 try, 2 try, and then back down in. I'm looking for the buyers to pull back, try again, and if and when they fail, I'm looking for that selling opportunity going back down into that range. The second scenario would be, what if they hold? What if we pull back, right? We hold and we go higher here. At that point now, we're looking for one of 4 scenarios. Do we see a spike and channel? If we do start seeing the market, right, trade higher here, higher highs, higher lows, spike in channel, I'm looking to buy the low of that channel on the way up to retest that high. Or maybe we see it pull back, double top, and turn sideways up here, right? Very strong move higher. Maybe we see a spike in range up here. If it starts going sideways tomorrow morning, we then know, right, to be a buyer below that range, right? Below the low of that range. It may also turn into a spike and triangle, same thing, spike and range, right? Trap, buy low as the price goes higher here. And you know what? It might also turn flag, right? It may also flag out here. And that flag, you'll want to wait to see those buyers try one more time. And again, if they can retest and keep going, right? If they can retest and keep going, we know we have a bull market and we'll keep buying that market. If not, we'll look for the fade right back in, again, going back into that range. As of right now, they're the only real proof, the only real evidence that says we could be bullish tomorrow morning is this real strong move higher. And as you can see, as I'm recording this video right now, we're definitely giving up a lot of that ground right as this candlestick starts to come to a close. So sellers, you're looking for a 1 try, 2 try, and then back down in. Buyers, you're looking for continuation, right? You can't trust this breakout, so you got to see continuation through, right? Once we see it continue through, then we can look at this now as a trending market, find the new channel, find the new measured move. The objective will most likely be up to that 55.22. Right now, my gut tells me we find our way back into that prior week high, down around 54.20 tomorrow, but I will be patient to wait and see if the buyers can hold a second attempt, right, to go higher. Let's keep going. Next up over on the S&P. S&P is range bound and trying to break higher if tomorrow's non-farm payroll report, but the battle zone and prior week high levels are major resistance levels and most likely give us the 2 try rule to sell back into the range tomorrow morning. What away from the middle, we got non-farm Friday tomorrow morning. Be careful here overnight. Tomorrow, give it at least 10 minutes after that news comes out. Let the dust settle. And as long as we stay inside these ranges, we'll keep using that range rotation. It's worked wonderfully so far this week, and there's no reason to make any changes tomorrow. If you have any questions for me, any feedback for me, if you want to learn more about the 2 try rule, how to draw ranges correctly, make sure you join our free trial. We got a great free trial here on the homepage of the website. Go to schooloftrade.com. If you're on the YouTube channel, there are plenty of helpful links in the description of that YouTube video. While you're here, don't forget, we have beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels membership. I'm always here to help you guys out 24/7, 365. If you have any questions, keep in touch. No newsletter on Friday afternoons. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, though. Friday afternoons, no newsletter. Next newsletter will be next Monday. Don't forget about daylight savings time this weekend. Saturday night, right? Set those clocks back an hour. We gain an hour of sleep, but now it gets dark at like 2 in the afternoon, right? So a little bit of a give and take there for daylight savings time. That's all right. You know, you got to have the dark if you get the light, right? So hopefully you guys prepare for that for next week. So daylight savings time of the weekend, non-farm payrolls tomorrow. Don't forget, check the free trial out. Come join me in the Trade as a member, and I'll see you guys next Monday evening, same time, same place, for our next edition of our nightly newsletter. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.